the tomato plants are done. It is that time of the year. Things are starting to wind down in the summer garden. Hello friends, welcome back. So today we do have some things that we need to do. The other day we went on ahead and we removed the yellow pear from this bed right here. But today we are going to finish harvesting off what little is left of our San Marzanos, and then we're going to pull them. The plants aren't putting out a whole lot of new activity, and we are supposed to have some rain this weekend as well as a major temperature drop. So what that means is if I don't get the tomatoes off now, even if they're not fully ripened, what will happen is they will end up cracking, splitting, and then just turning to rot. So they'll be completely and utterly useless in any form of cooking. But the tomato plants are done. It is that time of the year. Things are starting to wind down in the summer garden. But that's okay, because that means that we are making space for the fall and winter garden, and we are able to come in, clean out, and reset. So we'll be doing a little bit of that as well today. In this bed that we took the yellow pear out of, we are going to go on ahead and we're going to put some compost and manure in there and get that basically worked into the soil, get some nutrition going back in there. Probably add some worm castings and mushroom mycelium and maybe even a little bit of biotone just to give it a nice healthy boost, because tomato plants are major feeders, so they take a lot out of the soil. So I want to give the plants that I'm going to be putting in here for the fall a little bit of a helping hand, I guess you could say. But those fall plants will also help add nutrients back into the soil that the tomato plants have depleted. So if you've never done cover cropping or succession sowing or anything along that line, it's a permaculture method, and that permaculture method is based on the idea of not just doing the same crop over and over and over again, because that's what strips the soil of the nutrients. What you really want to do is not just succession sow, but you want to crop rotate. So the crop rotation that we're going to be doing for fall will help add in nutrients, not counting what I'm going to be adding into the soil, for the tomato plants next year. So it's sort of one of those, it's not a quick necessarily acting sort of nutritional supplementation, but what it does do is it provides this continuous nutrient. So it's not just a one-time thing and then whatever's planted just takes out the nutrients. Doing a crop rotation will allow the soil to rest, to rejuvenate, to take in the nutrients from the other crops, and then be able to put that nutrition and energy into the crops for next year. So think of it like a life insurance policy for next year, as opposed to, so health insurance is there, you know, if you break your arm and you need to go to the emergency room. That's what an immediate fertilizer is there for. So if you're having problems with your tomato plants or pepper plants or whatever it is, that's what you're doing with that. Whereas permaculture method, you are looking at long-term life insurance. So you're keeping that soil alive and healthy and thriving. And that's really what's going to give you healthy plants that are going to have less problems in the future. Now, last year we did not do this. I ended up having a surgery, so I wasn't able to come out here and take care of anything. So I didn't do a winter crop cover. The result of that this year has been I've had some issues with some blossom end rot. Of course, it doesn't help that we've had a lot of water very quickly when it has rained this summer, and that will wash a lot of nutrients and bioactivity right out of your soil if you're not staying on top of it. And even if you are staying on top of it, which I was, you can still lose a lot of nutrients doing with that kind of weather activity. Not saying nothing, just saying. But this year, we're going to be doing a fall and winter garden. I'm obviously not going to be hobbling around in a boot. So that means that the garden next year is going to be extremely happy. And that makes me very happy and very excited too. So I'm going to go on ahead. I'm going to put you on hyperlapse for this part, and I will See you back here in a little while when we go to amend everything, okay? So this is literally one of the nicest spots on our homestead in the heart of summer. We're underneath the arch trellises right now. But, okay, so I had there's a lot of things that need to be tended to out here. With all of the heat that we have had and all of the humidity, there's just been a limit to what we can really do as far as tending out here. One of the new bushes that we just put in, it looks like it's trying to die. And then I was checking on Berry Ridge over there, and one of our blueberries was inundated with a lot of devilweed, and the devilweed was so bad in there that it had literally wrapped itself around the blueberry bush's roots. So when I pulled out that devilweed, out came the blueberry plant with it. So I basically had to replant that blueberry plant over there, and that's really not ideal. So I did end up doing, obviously, a few things that I wasn't entirely expecting. I cleared out a lot of the weeds around the bushes. I didn't get the side garden over there weeded yet, but that can wait until after the rain. It's not nearly as overtaken as the bushes over there were. But we did get the beds partially amended where I could reach, and I had taken out the tomatoes. And when all of these tomatillos that you see over here in the backdrop, when they are done producing, I'll go on ahead and I'll amend the sides that they are on as well. And it looks like the green beans are definitely going to be done. At least these bushes are. They struggled really hard with the high heat, but I'm thinking I may be able to do another round of them, but I'm probably not going to plant as many. I do want to get some sweet peas in, however, so I've got a bush-like variety that's supposed to be fairly self-supporting, so I'm really interested to try those in the green stalks this this fall, and see if we can't get a better harvest than what we get in the springtime. And on another note, I do have something exciting that you need to see over here. And it's only been a week since since Mom showed me this guy, but okay, here we go. All right, let's get you in there. There's our pumpkin, guys. Look at that, in just a week. Isn't that beautiful? Now, the fact is, one pumpkin probably wouldn't do it for most people for the winter. We don't eat a whole lot of pumpkin. I'm not real partial to pumpkin unless it's cooked savory. I'm not a sweet pumpkin person. My family will tell you that. I don't care for pumpkin pie. And that's probably because it's actually one of my allergies. It's probably part of the reason that I've never really cared for it. But that will be plenty for me to be making some soap out of. One of the favorite soaps that I make is actually a pumpkin spice soap. So that should actually do us for the year, just that one pumpkin. Next year, what I will probably do, and this is true for a lot of fruiting plants, is that when you plant them, it's usually best to have a companion plant. It gives you a higher yield, healthier plants. Plants by themselves don't tend to do as well. People don't. Living things don't do well alone, no matter what anybody tells you. Okay, so plants don't like to be isolated from each other. People really shouldn't be isolated from each other. Just saying. And that guy really shouldn't have been alone. Although technically I did plant 3 seeds. Only 1 came up. So what I may do next year is I may go on ahead and pop them into the seed pots and do it that way. It will probably slow the growth a little bit, because just like cucumbers, all kinds of squash, sometimes some melons are this way. When you transplant them, they really stunt back, and it sets them back anywhere from 2 weeks to a month in their growing pattern, because they really don't like root disturbance. So I direct sowed those. So I don't know, I'll just kind of, maybe I'll play it by ear next year. Maybe I'll do opposing, do planting in ground versus putting it in a pot, and see what I get stronger and what I have more of as far as consistent plant growth goes. But we did get a lot done today. I also heavy watered. We're supposed to be getting some rain, and we're going to have a massive cool down, and that massive cool down is really going to help us out. I'm not going to lie. Because as I said, there's a lot out here that needs to be tended to. Lots of weed overgrowth that you just can't keep up with, and plant maintenance, general plant maintenance, that is hard to do in the high heat and high humidity, because there's a good bulk of the day that you can't really do anything outside without heat stroke setting in. Just to be frank, and I'm not going there. So yeah, I think that's it for this vlog, guys, but I hope you enjoyed the video. And what I will do here at the end of this video is I'm going to go on ahead and I'm going to link in a video from last year of me cleaning up the fall garden. So I will put that in here as well. If you would also like to learn anything about soil health, maintenance, all of that, we do have a playlist as well available with all of that content. So go on ahead and check that out. And don't forget, guys, we do have a quick start garden guide, okay? So it literally will show you step by step how to start a garden in just 3 days, and it is available through the beginning of September. So the end of August, beginning of September, it's going to full price, which is going to be about $14. Right now it's at about $7. So go on ahead and get it while it's on sale. And I really just encourage you to start growing. You can do it. I have faith in you, And if you have any questions or comments, go on ahead and drop them down below. I'd be happy to answer anything that I know or have experience with. So, guys, as always, keep it simple, natural, and essential. We'll see you on the next video. Bye.